It started as a normal Sunday morning at Maple Grove Veterans Memorial Park. The air was quiet, flags waving softly in the breeze, the sound of boots crunching on gravel. 81-year-old Walter Henson parked his old blue pickup truck in the lot, just like he'd done every year for the past 3 decades. He came to honor the men who never made it home from Vietnam. Walter wasn't looking for trouble that day. He just wanted to visit the memorial wall, say a prayer, and remember his brothers in arms. But fate had other plans. A few spaces over, 3 young men leaned against a shiny sports car, laughing and filming themselves for TikTok. They were loud, careless, and had parked in the handicapped spot. Walter had the tag and the right to park there, so he approached them gently and said, "Excuse me, fellas. I've got a permit for that spot. Would you mind moving?" The tallest of them, a 20-year-old influencer named Chase Miller, turned to his friends and smirked. "Oh, look, the parking police showed up," he said, pulling out his phone. Walter smiled politely. "Not police, son, just trying to park." But Chase wasn't interested in respect. He was chasing views. He looked into his phone camera and said, "This one's gonna go viral. Watch this." Then he walked up to Walter, phone still recording, and slapped him across the face. Walter stumbled back, confused and hurt. His hearing aid fell and bounced on the pavement. Chase's friends burst out laughing. "Come on, old man," Chase mocked. "Don't cry on camera. It's just a joke." Only it wasn't a joke, it was cruel. And inside the diner across the parking lot, 40 men saw the whole thing through the window. They were members of the Iron Brothers Motorcycle Club. Veterans, mechanics, family men. Big beards, leather vests. Their president, called Tank, slowly set down his coffee cup and stood. "Brothers," he said, "we've got a situation." The next thing anyone heard was the sound of 40 pairs of heavy boots walking in perfect rhythm. They didn't run, they didn't yell, they walked, steady, calm. Chase was still filming when he noticed the reflection of leather jackets behind him. He turned, confused, as the bikers formed a semicircle around him and his friends. Tank stepped forward. "You just slapped an 81-year-old veteran," he said quietly. "You got about 3 seconds to explain yourself." Chase blinked, trying to laugh it off. "Dude, it's just a prank. Chill out." "A prank?" one of the bikers growled. "You call assaulting a war hero a prank?" Walter tried to calm them. "Please, no trouble. I don't want anyone getting hurt." Tank shook his head. "Sir, with all respect, this isn't trouble. This is justice." Chase kicked Walter's hearing aid away with his sneaker. "What, can't hear me now, Grandpa?" he sneered. The bikers closed in. The laughter stopped. Even Chase's friends backed away. Tank pointed at the phone in Chase's hand. "Delete the video." "No way, man. That's content," Chase snapped. "You old guys just don't get it." Snake, another biker, pulled out his phone and scrolled. Chase Miller, 3.4 million followers, known for edgy pranks. He read the titles out loud. Pushing a homeless guy into traffic, ruining a kid's birthday cake, breaking into a nursing home for views. He looked up. "You're a real piece of work, huh?" Tank stepped forward and snatched the camera. He dropped it to the ground and crushed it under his boot. "That's what I think of your content. That camera cost $10,000. Tank leaned in. "Should have invested in a conscience instead." Chase backed up, panicked. "I'm calling the cops. This is assault." "Go ahead. Tell them how you slapped a disabled veteran and filmed it for likes. We'll wait." The color drained from Chase's face. Then Walter spoke up again, voice trembling but strong. "Son, do you know who I came here to honor today?" Chase shook his head, eyes down. "My best friend, Sergeant Michael Turner. He was 22 when he threw himself on a grenade to save the rest of us." Walter's voice cracked, but he kept going. "He died for something real. And you? You live for clicks?" The bikers stood in silence. Even Chase's friends couldn't meet his eyes. "I'm sorry," Chase muttered. "No, you're not sorry. You're just scared." Tank folded his arms. "Here's how this is gonna go. You're deleting every video where you hurt or humiliated someone. All of them." Chase hesitated until one of the bikers, a mountain of a man called Hammer, grabbed him by the back of the hoodie and lifted him off the ground with one arm. "Start deleting," Hammer said. Chase's hands shook as he scrolled, deleting video after video. "My career's gone," he whispered. Razor, another biker, said, "That wasn't a career, kid. That was cruelty." When the phone was finally empty, Tank said, "Now record a new one. You're gonna apologize to this man and to everyone you've ever hurt." He turned on the camera, tears in his eyes, and apologized. For the first time, it wasn't fake. When he finished, Walter walked closer, looked him in the eye, and said, "I forgive you." Even Tank was speechless. Walter continued, "I've seen enough real violence in my life. Forgiveness is the only way I know to move forward. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences." Tank nodded, pulling out his phone. "Chief, we got a guy here who assaulted a veteran on camera," he said. Minutes later, police sirens echoed through the lot. Chase was handcuffed and taken away. As he was led to the cruiser, Walter said quietly, "You wanted to go viral, son. Congratulations. You just did. For all the wrong reasons." By that evening, the story was everywhere. TikToker assaults war hero exploded across social media. Sponsors cut ties overnight. Chase's followers vanished. His accounts were banned for life. Meanwhile, Walter's story spread for the right reasons. The man who risked everything for his country. Donations poured in for veterans' charities. Over $250,000 in 3 days. Walter donated every cent to homeless vets. The Iron Brothers made Walter an honorary member. They gave him a black leather vest with his name and the patch protected by the Iron Brothers. They even built a custom sidecar painted with the colors of his old unit. Every Veterans Day, Walter rode in that sidecar, surrounded by men who called him brother. Chase, on the other hand, spent 90 days in jail and 2 years on probation. His brand deals disappeared, and his fame evaporated overnight. He had everything, and lost it all because he thought pain was funny. 6 months later, Walter was back at the memorial. He stood quietly, laying flowers at the wall. A shadow fell beside him. It was Chase. No fancy clothes, no camera, just a humble young man who looked 10 years older than before. "Mr. Henson," he said softly, "I wanted to apologize again." "Why now?" he asked. "I've been working 3 jobs since I got out. It's $5,000. I want it to go to the Veterans Fund. This means more than you know. I met my cellmate's grandfather while I was inside. He told me stories about Vietnam I didn't understand before. I do now." Walter studied him for a long moment, then smiled faintly. "Come sit with me." They sat on a bench near the memorial for hours. Walter told him about Sergeant Turner, the bravery, the brotherhood, the cost of freedom. Chase listened, really listened, for the first time in his life. When Walter finished, Chase said quietly, "I'll try to live better." To honor that name, Walter nodded. "That's all any of us can do, son." Today, the Iron Brothers run a youth program called the Michael Turner Honor Initiative, teaching young people about service, respect, and responsibility. And every week, Chase Miller volunteers there. He tells his story as a warning about what happens when fame means more than decency. He always ends with the same line, "I slapped a hero and got slapped by karma." Walter's older now. His walk is slower, his hands tremble. But when he stands at that memorial wall, 40 bikers stand beside him. They call him brother. They call him family. Because they all know one thing to be true. You don't mess with a veteran. You don't mock sacrifice. And you never disrespect the men and women who gave you the freedom to film your foolishness. Some lessons hurt. Some scars never fade. But for Chase Miller and Walter Henson, that day in the parking lot became more than a viral moment. It became a story of redemption, forgiveness, and the power of honor. So remember this. Respect isn't content. Honor isn't clickbait. And heroes deserve reverence, not ridicule. If you believe that, share this story. Because sometimes doing what's right doesn't make you famous. It just makes you decent.